I'm really excited to build this project with you, but we have to get over switch statements. So now we have our if statement here, really easy to use, but we see that we might be typing a lot of else if we actually want to check for different conditions, right? So take for example, we have uh uh so I'm just going to comment. Actually, no need to comment. I'm just going to create a variable called weekday, and let's say it's 1. So since today is Sunday, which I'm recording this lecture on a Sunday, we could say 1 represents Sunday, right? It could be 0 or whatever, but let's just stay with 1. Actually, let's go with 0 because I'm still going to show you arrays which start indexing at 0. So let's just stay with the convention 0. So now, to use a switch statement, we just write the keyword switch and the case. So this is the case we're looking for, and our case is actually weekday. And now we could write different cases. So if it's 0, what I want to do, I just want to log to the console, today is Sunday. And we could have another case. Let's go with a case of 5, which is going to be a Friday. Oh, before we go there, we just need to break out of this. So we're going to look at the break keyword later, but for now, just understand that we just need to break from this. So break means stop the execution. We're done with the switch statement. So that's just all you need to understand for now. And we could say console.log approaching weekend. And remember our friend break, so we need to break. And we have another case of 6, and we log to the console. Yay, it's weekend, which is our favorite time of the week, right? All right, so if I save this now and run this, we're gonna get today is Sunday, because now the weekday is 0, and we're looking at, in the case of 0, break from it. Log today's Sunday and break from it. So let's go with 5, and we get approaching weekend because it's 5 is actually a Friday. Let's go with 6, and we get yay, it's weekend. Let's go with 3. We got nothing. Well, that's because we have no case handling for weekend. Sorry, for day 3. Now we could actually have something like this, which is a else case, but we can't actually write else here, can we? No, we can't. And you can see it's actually yelling at me that uh, else is not, it's not. It doesn't belong there. So I'll just break from here and write a default. So it's actually replaced by default, and we could just log to the console. It is a weekday, and we could break, even though break is optional for default, but based on convention we'll just break. And if I run that now, you see it is a weekday. If I go with 1, you get it is a weekday. So if we look at 0, we see it's a Sunday. 5, 6, those 5 is approaching weekend, 6 is it's a weekend. Then if none of this case is true, then we fall to the default, which says, oh, it's definitely a weekday. Now we have no constraints here, so let's go. If we go with 10, and you can see it's a weekday, and this is actually not true. So let's add some security here. So what I'm going to do, I just cut the code. You don't have to follow along, but I just want to add a constraint here. So what I want to make sure is if the weekday is greater than or equal to 0, and now this is what we haven't seen before, and so this is adding to comparisons. We're going to look at this right now, and less than or equal to, or we could just say, okay, less than or equal to 6, and then we want to run this code. Now if I run this, we're not gonna get anything printed out because the day that was chosen is actually greater than 0, and it is uh, also not less than or equal to 6. So we know our basic math, so comparison. So this is greater than, this is greater than and equal to. We have less than, and equal to. We have not equal to. So we could have something like this. We have a test, and we're going to say test, and we could have a test called test not equal to best, and we could just log to the console true. I just want to show you some of the testings, and we should get true because test is not equal to best. But if you see test is not equal to test, you get nothing because the condition was not met, right? So we could say test. We could also have another check here. You see test is equal to 2. All right, let's say test is less than 3, and we should get true. Now we could also add another check. So we say test is less than 3 and is even. So we want to check if test is actually even. So we want to see if test is equal to, actually we could say if test modulus 2 is equal to 0. Remember our condition, we could actually check if it's true. So we get true, right? Because it's actually less than 3, and it's also an even number. So if I put 1, we're not going to get anything because 1 is actually, so this condition is actually true, but this condition is false. And since we're using and, it means both conditions have to be true. So I'm just going to write something like this. So the moment we're using and, it means both sides have to be true. I'm just going to comment this out. Then we have or. So to write or, you just use this double pipe. It means one of the conditions have to be true. So if I do this, or, it will still print out true because test, which is 1, is less than 3, but it's not an even number. But since we're saying or, we actually want to see if one of the conditions will run, and so that's the or. And we know the not, right? So the not, let me just say, also known as the exclamation mark. It means not true or not false. So it actually negates. So if we have not true, then that equals to false. If we have not false, then that equals to true. So just something we should get out of the way. So I'm just gonna comment this out and set this back to 1, and we should have it's a weekday. Yeah, because now we're checking if the weekday is actually greater than 0, greater or equal to 0, and the weekday is actually less than or equal to 6. So it must be between the range of 0 and 6 inclusive. Alright, so it's a long lecture. Just wanted to make sure we got that out of the way because we're going to be using all these condition checks in the project. So see you in the next one. For real, we're actually going to start building our project next lecture.